Good morning from Dallas. I woke up to a pretty exciting email. It says, "Dear Shira, I'm writing to tell you that I just got a cancellation for the competition, and if you want to, you are in."
Well, it didn't just almost change my life, it completely changed my life.
People that I had never met before and people that I admired, fancy conductors, were messaging me.
Eigentlich war es zu viel.
If people think women conductors are like weaker, they haven't seen me conduct.
I just thought, wow, this is cool. This is really cool.
Nicht beschreibbar in dem Moment, auch erst viel, viel später. Ich dachte, was ist passiert?
So, I'm a little overwhelmed. It's an incredible opportunity to work with world-class musicians. It is also more music than I've ever tried to prepare. So, I have my work cut out for me. It'll be an adventure, no matter what happens.
Blitzlicht, Einfall, Bravo, Orchester steht, Publikum steht auf. Aber das war overwhelming.
Pero fue después que me di cuenta de la magnitud de lo que significaba eso.
I remember exactly where I was when I got the invitation. I checked my phone because I'm a millennial and I can't stop checking my phone, and an email basically popped up and it said, "Congratulations, you've been welcomed to the Malko competition." And I remember I ran out and immediately called my then boyfriend, now husband, Tyler, to say, "This has actually happened, oh my God." And then I came back in and I didn't tell anyone. But that was only for about 15 minutes because I was too excited. So I started telling everyone, oh my gosh, I finally got into this really great competition that I'd only ever dreamed of getting into. And started studying that day. Before the Malko competition and after the Malko competition are truly two different times in my life. It's a different book was opened at that point. It wasn't a different chapter, it was a completely different story. My name is Ryan Bancroft. I am a conductor and I live in London. I start every morning with peanut butter on toast. I start with coffee like most people do. And then quickly after that, things tend to turn to music, pretty commonly. I had never done a competition before. If I get in, then there's going to be a completely different change of mindset. Then, well, okay, well, they've accepted me, so I might as well go in and do my absolute best. But the first step is just getting into the competition. That's, in many ways, the difficult part.
I'm about to start a study session on the first round repertoire, which for me is Haydn 49, first movement, and Beethoven 4, first movement. Great music to spend time with. They've told us that 1 hour before our first round turn, we will be told which piece we have been assigned for our 17 minutes with the orchestra. Creating the plan helps me feel calmer. So that's my task.
Nikolai Malko était un artiste doué et de rare qualité. C'est à ceux-ci que je souhaite aujourd'hui la bienvenue.
Så er Malko-konkurrencen tilbage igen.
Velkommen til Malko-konkurrencen.
Welcome to all of you.
Nu er det blevet tid til Malko-konkurrencen for unge dirigenter.
Malko-konkurrencen er en konkurrence for dirigenter og unge dirigenter
som står for måske at få et gennembrud.
Den dybere mening med Malko-konkurrencen har jo været fra starten, da den blev indstiftet i 1965, at give unge dirigenter en chance for at blive synliggjort, give dem en chance for at spille med et godt professionelt orkester, og eventuelt give også en chance for de unge mennesker at blive synliggjort over for agenter rundt omkring, så de kunne bygge en karriere ud fra det.
Med en dirigent, der er ens instrument i virkeligheden jo orkestret. Og det er jo det helt store problem for unge dirigenter, at de med en stok skal, uden at have et orkester, forestille sig en klang i hovedet. Og hvordan kan de gøre det, hvis de ikke har noget fysisk modspil i et orkester? Præcis. Så derfor er det, som er både sjældent og meget værdifuldt for en ung dirigent, nemlig at have et orkester foran sig. Og allerhelst et professionelt orkester, og allerhelst et professionelt orkester, der er hjælpsomt, fordi de hænger ikke på træerne.
Why do I participate in this competition? Because for a young conductor, it's extremely difficult to begin your career, and these days competitions offer a great possibility of working with professional orchestras. If you're lucky enough to win, it provides the opportunity for concerts. It's one of the few ways these days in which a young conductor can actually begin his career.
Inden vi går videre med dagens begivenheder, var det måske på sin plads at fortælle lidt om navnefaren til denne konkurrence.
Nikolaj Malko! Ukrainsk dirigent, der kom hertil og var en af de grundlæggende kræfter i det orkester, vi står med her i dag.
Nikolaj Malko, som har givet navn til konkurrencerne, er simpelthen den dirigent, som har, tror jeg næsten man kan sige, skabt orkestrets teknik. Han er født i 1883. Han dør i 1961 på et tidspunkt, hvor han ikke er meget mere i Danmark, men hvor han gennem 30'erne og 40'erne har bygget orkestrets tekniske standard op.
George Malko.
George.
Han har altid været dybt engageret i konkurrencen.
Ja, meget.
Ja.
Og et meget personligt forhold, og altid med faren.
Ja.
Meget præsent.
Og han ligner ham jo.
Han ligner ham fuldstændig, se nu der, ikke?
Ja.
George Malko, what did your father think of the Radio Symphony Orchestra?
Oh, he loved this orchestra because he worked with them through many experiences, musical and I think personal.
My name is George Malko. I am the son of Nikolai Malko and Bertha Malko. I never could imagine my father conducting with this one because it's too long. I always felt that he liked the smaller size, but then I saw that this one was broken. So I thought, did you lose your temper? And I looked at this one, and it wasn't broken. And I thought, okay, maybe he used this one. So these are very precious to me. Very, 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 very precious.
Same old. I am heading to Cardiff now to conduct Shostakovich's 13th Symphony, and also Beethoven's first piano concerto with BBC National Orchestra of Wales.
Jeg har egentlig forhåbninger til alle, fordi når de først er nået frem til at komme og spille med os, eller dirigere os, så er det dygtige mennesker. Det er meget dygtige mennesker, der er blevet udvalgt, og også nogle meget kompetente mennesker. Så det er... jeg forventer mig egentlig rigtig meget fra hver af dem, og så håber jeg at blive overrasket.
I dag kom de så til Radiohuset, de 29 nye unge dirigenter, som alle håber på at komme helt til tops. Endnu er de lutter ukendte ansigter, men når vi i de kommende dage har set dem helt opslugt af musikken, ja, så ved vi meget mere om dem.
Sie haben schon einen ersten Preis in Katowice, Polen gewonnen. Ja. Genügt das nicht?
Doch.
Aber warum dann Kopenhagen?
Ja, zwischendurch war noch Luzern.
Aber diese Reise nach Kopenhagen war schon, ja, das war schon speziell. Ein Abenteuer, was man nicht beschreiben kann. Es war einfach so. Mein Name ist Klaus Flor. Ich bin Dirigent und lebe in Berlin. Im Falle Malko-Wettbewerb war es so, ich hatte meine Stelle und habe gearbeitet in Suhl, ein Programm, und dann bekam ich einen Anruf vom Ministerium hier von Kultur. Herr Flor, ja, Flor, bitte bereiten Sie sich vor auf Malko-Wettbewerb. In 3 Monaten müssen Sie dort antreten. Wir schicken Sie als Repräsentant unserer jungen Dirigenten zum Wettbewerb. Wir senden Ihnen das Programm, und wenn Sie Probleme haben mit den Partituren, helfen wir Ihnen. So, das war der Beginn. Das war meine erste Reise überhaupt noch als Dirigent. Alleine nach Westeuropa, ging nach Kopenhagen. Das war schon spannend allein. Man hatte die Erfahrung gemacht, Herr Flor kommt auch wieder zurück in die DDR. So, er geht nicht weg und so. Das war so eine Art, wie sagen Sie dazu, Prüfung oder irgendetwas. Aber ich war hier gebunden, ich war hier verheiratet, ich hatte hier mein Kind, meine Eltern waren hier. Es gab für mich persönlich ein Umfeld, wo ich geborgen war und wo ich nicht weg musste. Und man hat mich machen lassen. Man hat mich machen lassen. Musik war nicht so auch, aber nicht so gefährlich wie Sprechtheater oder Film. So, Musik war immer etwas untouchable. So, ich meine, ich erinnere mich noch, in Hamburg bin ich am Bahnhof gestanden und habe nur geschaut, weil es ist nicht nur optisch, auch es roch alles ganz anders. Die Autos rochen anders. Die Abgase, der ganze Duft, die ganze Aura roch an. Ja, man steht dann da und Mund auf, und dann guckt man zu Altenhafen, zu Neuehafen oder dann die Stadt. Ich hatte nur meine Partituren und meine Sachen und die Fahrkarte nach Kopenhagen. Das war alles, was ich hatte. So, Wettbewerb gewonnen und am nächsten Tag musste ich wieder zurück. Es war also ganz schnell, das Tor wurde aufgemacht und dann wurde es erst mal wieder zugemacht.
Velkommen til Malko-konkurrencens første arbejdsdag. I dag skal de første kandidater i ilden.
Altså, den der dag, når de ankommer, allerede der er der nogen, der er sådan her i blikket,
ja,
ikke?
Jo.
Fordi de har så meget, der kører inde bagved.
Ja. Og da man kun har få minutter til at vise, hvad man vil, så er tingene jo altså virkelig sat på spidsen.
Good morning from outside the hall. In an hour, I find out whether I'll be conducting Haydn or Beethoven for the first round. And then an hour after that, I get my 17 minutes with the Danish National Symphony Orchestra. So I'm feeling very excited. Definitely nervous, but I try to focus on the gratitude I have for this chance to work with incredible musicians. And my hope for my time with them is that I can stay present in the moment, present in the music, and enjoy this enormous privilege of conducting the NSO. So, here we go.
A very warm welcome from Copenhagen, where we're just about ready to get going with the Malko competition for young conductors.
Zu groß geschlagen.
Sí, estoy oyendo como estoy cantando al mismo tiempo.
Oh, I remember this, actually. I remember the button I wanted to button the top of my shirt and I had to go on super, super quickly and I was so nervous and I thought, I'm gonna ruin this because my top button is not buttoned.
Lad os byde om velkommen, Ryan Bancroft.
Yeah, I remember thinking, just start, just do it. I have 3 positions with orchestras right now, which I'm very fortunate for. One is Principal Conductor of the BBC National Orchestra of Wales, who I've been with for a few years now. A new one is Chief Conductor of the Royal Stockholm Philharmonic Orchestra, which started only a few months ago. And I'm also Artist in Association with Tapiola Sinfonietta in Espoo, in Finland. Immediately after Malko, I had to get my partner book me a plane ticket back to Amsterdam because I didn't know when I was coming home and I didn't have enough money. But I remember he booked a flight for me, and I remember for at least a month and a half, I was getting max 4 to 5 hours of sleep a night. It was a whirlwind. People that I had never met before and people that I admired, fancy conductors were messaging me, fancy musicians and instrumentalists and soloists and stuff were messaging me. And I just thought, wow, this is cool. This is really cool.
Oh, hey!
Hey,
How are you?
I'm well.
Great to see you.
Good to see you. It's so long.
I know. Last time was half across the world.
I don't take anything that's happened since the Malko competition for granted. There are 2 sides of it. When you think of, for example, the prize that the Malko competition gives you. There's, of course, a monetary prize to it, and one of the most exciting parts of the prizes is you get to conduct 20-some-odd orchestras automatically after the orchestra. So on one side, it was, oh my gosh, that's so amazing. I get to conduct all of these orchestras and make this music all over the place, places I had never been before. And then on the other side is, I have to conduct all of these orchestras and learn all of this music and not screw it up. So the Malko competition, it opens up the door. You have to walk through it and hopefully do your best every step of the way.
Well, everybody's here as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ja, det er den helt store herlighedsværdi ved den her konkurrence, når man har vundet en Malko-konkurrence, at man får, hvad skal vi sige, 24 koncertproduktioner rundt omkring i verden. Det er jo meget mere værd end den pris, du får, fordi den giver dig jo en erfaring, som er unik, som du jo ikke vil få ellers.
Og man må sige, selvfølgelig er man ikke garanteret en livslang karriere.
Nej.
Det kan man ikke være, fordi den svære, det er jo toeren. At blive geninviteret. Ja. Men man kan sige, med Malko får man muligheden for at blive... Det er et springbræt.
Ja.
Ja.
Can we just do from right before that? Sorry. Bravo, bravo, really bravo. Super, thank you so much. I'll see you tonight for Shostakovich. Thank you. Yeah. That'd be fantastic. That'd be really fantastic. Do your thing, do your thing, do your thing, do your thing. Hey, how are you? Good to see you as well. How do you play? And then do you do that? Yeah. 1 and 3, okay. Yeah. You don't have to show me, I know you can do it.
No, but I mean, I'm saying for me, the point is it forces the articulation.
Ah, okay. By the way, I don't think I've ever told you this. One of my favorite, like I would say, top 10 desert island discs. Your Beethoven Sonata F-sharp major.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know that was.
You know how people always say, you know, Beethoven didn't write the best tunes, whatever, and maybe some, like perhaps there's truth to that occasionally and stuff. But I mean,
I know it's perfect.
Yeah. I mean, come on. This is, of course, a passion, and it's also a profession at the same time. So, you know, we all approach this job in very different ways. In my case, music is about connection and people and community, and I think the whole purpose of rehearsal is to, you know, if you're starting a fire, put the logs in the right place, make sure there's enough kindling underneath, make sure there's enough air that could get into it, freedom, make sure it's not overstuffed so you can't start something, make sure it's not under-prepared as well. Just do enough. Leave something for the concert, something.
The conductors that have won the competition, that have graced the competition with their presence, represent the great conductors of the world. At one time, they were young conductors. Not anymore. They are the established, solid, important conductors. Musicians like Claus Flor. And of course, David Robertson, who was very young when he was in the competition.
Amerikaneren David Robertson er en af de yngste deltagere, kun 21 år, men han har studeret direktion fra han var 15, blandt andet på Royal College i London.
My name is David Robertson, and I am presently the Distinguished Visiting Faculty and Director of Conducting Studies at the Juilliard School here in New York City. In 1980, I was, 21. I had just left the Royal Academy of Music with my diploma and realized that that diploma out in the world meant nothing at all. And I put forward my name for a number of conducting competitions. And at the time, if you were 21, you were considered far too young to be a conductor.
Can you polish only two verses from the beginning, only first line? Can you polish your
your
colors and phrasing?
Would you like me to rehearse with them? Yeah. First violins, please.
At the time, I was refused many of these conducting competitions because I was considered too young and I'd only left school and therefore. But one of the two competitions that allowed me to come, the first was the Hungarian conducting competition in Budapest, a harmadik nemzetközi karmesterverseny. And then the other one was the Nikolai Malko competition in Copenhagen. And so I was very excited to go. And in the Hungarian competition, I was thrown out in the first round. And so I thought, oh, well, okay, that's not that great. And then I got to Copenhagen.
Anden prisen tildeles David Robertson fra USA.
And won second prize. And that was a fantastic, unbelievable thing at the time.
Our sons were there that year. He was their favorite. Boy, did they want him to win.
Og nu kommer togmusikken. Skiveknud, lav det der, vi har med. Og så, Leif, lav nogle violiner. Og så skal Leif, tak for hornet, færdig med hornet, og over på dirigenten, og med dine kontrabasser som forgrund, og skiveknud ind på dirigenten. Kom tæt, kom.
Værsgo.
Man kan sige, det er også en særlig konkurrence i og med, at den er knyttet til Danmarks Radio.
Ja.
En medieinstitution.
Ja, det er det.
Altså man kan sige, at konkurrencen den er vokset frem sammen med tv.
Absolut.
Og den fik primetime.
Ja.
Ja, også dengang, hvor alle sad og så det samme i kukkassen.
Ja.
Så var det også Malko-konkurrencen, det fulgte.
Yes, welcome back to the concert hall of the Danish Broadcasting Corporation here in Copenhagen in this first round of the 2024 Malko Competition for Young Conductors. So we can see Shira there, and it's never easy coming out onto this stage with all these cameras, with a live audience, with a microphone at your mouth. But the Danish National Symphony Orchestra does everything to make it as easy as possible for these candidates. I think that's what this competition is justly famous for.
Byd velkommen til Shira Samuels-Shragg.
So here she comes, 26 years old, from the US, Shira Samuels-Shragg.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's wonderful to be here. Haydn, please. Thank you so much, Orchestra. Thank you. I was very nervous, but also then once we started the music, I felt they were really there with me. And it was a wonderful experience to work with them. Yeah. You know, it's almost like the Olympics, how they film it, and the backstage, and the interviews, and the commentary. So it's very kind of surreal to be one of the people now in it.
Hey, Shira Samuels-Shragg. First time in a competition, and this is the Malko. How is the mood?
Så har alle dirigenter været igennem første runde her i Malko-konkurrencen. Dommerne voterer, og dirigenterne venter. Skal de hjem med næste fly, eller får de opholdet her i København forlænget?
I'm really eager to see conductors of my generation and how they will approach the pieces. My lawyer said to me, I have only two choices. It's either marry an American, which is quicker to get a green card, or to go win an international competition. For me, it was a chance to perhaps finally able to obtain green card, to be able to stay in America and to continue to be an orchestra conductor. If it was possible for me, I always tell people it's possible for them.
Og modtageren af førsteprisen er Mei-Ann Chen fra Taiwan.
Så siger vi igen velkommen til Malko-konkurrencen, hvor vi er nået frem til anden runde.
Welcome to day 3 of the Malko Competition for Young Conductors. And everything changes today.
That was a good round. Really a good round.
Orchester klingt ja so gut. Homogen.
Claus Peter Flor blev der bare talt om.
Jo, også fordi han havde lavet en overbevisende finale til Malko-konkurrencen på det tidspunkt der. Og det var ligesom den målstok, som man gik fra Claus Peter Flor. Ja. Det er der, man gerne ville hen.
Und 1984, also 40 Jahre jetzt ist es her, habe ich die Musikdirektorposition am Berliner Symphonieorchester bekommen, welches jetzt Konzerthausorchester heißt. Und habe die Ehre gehabt, mit anderen Dirigenten, die leider nicht mehr unter uns weilen, am 1. Oktober 1984 dieses schöne Konzerthaus zu öffnen. Es ist Wiederbelebung vom alten Handwerk in vielen Detailfragen. Ja, und dann natürlich das größte Handwerk, was wir haben, ist die Jämlich-Orgel. Das ist eine großartige Sache, die ich ja beim Eröffnungskonzert der Erste war, der sie benutzen durfte mit dem Organisten und dem Orchester. Das ist immer etwas, wenn der erste Ton kommt mit einem Publikum. Der erste Ton. Sehr, sehr schön. Die große Inspiration für die Situation, in die ich hineingeworfen wurde oder gestoßen wurde, war natürlich Malko-Wettbewerb in Kopenhagen. Ja, wir waren alle gespannt bis zum Umfallen, weil der Staatschef war da, die ganze Regierung war da, internationale Botschafter und Abgesandte von Regierungen waren hier. Natürlich alle Leute, die gesehen werden wollten, waren hier. So, und wir waren ja, international live geschaltet. So als springt man einen Weltrekord und hat ihn gar nicht erwartet.
It was unbelievable, honestly. It was the coldest it's been there, I think, in 35 years.
Wow. Well, I've been to Helsinki.
Oh,
in.
I'm going to be there tomorrow.
Oh, right.
Yeah, traveling is a huge part of my life. Just to be able to travel for a living is a big blessing, actually. I've personally found a good balance in my life. I have, a husband that I adore, and that is always the first port of call for any decision that I make. And my family, in that case, comes first. So we're about to have our dress rehearsal this evening at Brangwyn Hall here in Swansea, doing Shostakovich and Beethoven, and we are also going to be having another concert tomorrow in Cardiff, and then I'm heading off to Helsinki right after with my other orchestra, Tapiola Sinfonietta, which should be a lot of fun, hopefully. I'm sure it will.
You were quoted then for saying that winning the competition had changed your life. How do you look upon it today?
Well, it didn't just almost change my life, it completely changed my life. Because I went from really having nothing career-wise to having to have a profession. I mean, I had considered myself to be a conductor, and I was trained as a conductor, but I really had nowhere to practice it. So I went from having no jobs to having a lot of work. Me abrió muchísimas puertas. Y por muchos años, claro, tuve oportunidades muy lindas y muy interesantes. Mi nombre es Jan Wagner, soy director de orquesta y estoy en el momento viviendo en Valencia, España. Bueno, por supuesto que ganar el concurso inmediatamente me abrió muchas puertas, porque ya a raíz de, sí, yo creo que
Hasta el día siguiente ya me llamaron unos agentes y me ofrecieron conciertos. Claro, fue un cambio total de un día al otro. Me abrió muchísimas puertas. Y por muchos años, claro, tuve oportunidades muy lindas y muy interesantes. Y esto, por supuesto, es cuando presentaron el premio con el príncipe de Henrik de Dinamarca, y este era el chef de la radio de Dinamarca, y esto fue cuando estaban el Champagne Galop, que estaba dirigiendo ahí al final. Pero no es muy fácil, porque uno tiene que sacrificar mucho para mantener un nivel. En ese sentido, es un poco parecido a lo que los atletas o los deportistas hacen, que tienes que estar enfocado 100% en tu profesión, porque hay que sacrificar mucho. Entonces yo creo que no es fácil tener una familia o mantener una familia, o sea, no mantenerla. Es difícil tener un sentido de familia cuando estás viajando mucho y estás invirtiendo y tu enfoque es principalmente tu profesión. Y yo creo que eso en parte fue la razón por la cual quizás opté a trabajar en un ambiente donde podría estar más en un sitio que estar viajando todo el tiempo y poder estar más cerca de la familia. Pensé que en ese momento era más importante que yo esté ahí que esté afuera. Recuerdos, muchos de ellos que estudiantes míos que me dieron. Esta es la orquesta del conservatorio en el año 2010. 2011 fue un aniversario de Gustav Mahler, que es uno de mis compositores favoritos. Bueno, yo estuve muchos años trabajando en un conservatorio de música en los Estados Unidos y estuve 21 años trabajando ahí.
In 1929, being invited to the West to conduct, he was able to finally get visas for himself and my mother. There's a lot of different photographs about the years when my father began working with the orchestra. This photograph, this is Emil Holm on our left, who is the man who hired my father. He was a famous Kammersänger. That's my mother, that's Prokofiev, who was there because Emil Holm wanted my father to open some doors. And there was Prokofiev. After my father died, my mother had the imagination, and I think courage, to go to Valdemar Volsing, who was then president of the orchestra, and said, let us do a competition. And in the grand tradition of Emil Holm, they said yes. In 1965, there was the first competition. She awarded first prize. She was on the stage. 68, another competition they did every 3 years. This is Stravinsky, whom my father invited to Copenhagen, to Denmark, in front of the placard, and of course it sold out.
any young conductor, and here at Juilliard, I teach young conductors. Each conductor that I've had in my graduate program is unique. None of them can I compare. And so the whole point in a competition is to go in and be yourself and try and make the music the best way that you know how. And then, you know, it's like throwing the dice. That might mean that on this particular day that works just perfectly. Who do you come, you know, who are you following? Who are you going in front of? I mean, I always think about this with Rachmaninoff and Scriabin, right? If Rachmaninoff had not existed, Scriabin would have been the greatest sort of composer, pianist, but then there's this Rachmaninoff dude, and he's like, you're stealing all my thunder, right? And sometimes this happens, right? So here's the thing, you have to be who you are. And if Shira or any of the other candidates goes in and they are completely themselves, and the jury likes that, fantastic. And if the jury doesn't like that, that's okay. Because the worst thing is you go in, you try and play a role, what you think the jury wants.
Last movement? Thank you, it's enough. We don't need the fourth movement.
You don't need the fourth movement, okay. I'm finished, right, okay, bye-bye, thank you.
I think one of the most important things for me in the competition had to do with the fact that I came and, you know, got, you know, second prize right after a competition where I had been thrown out. And at that competition, one of the judges deigned to talk to those who had not gone on. And I went and I knocked on his hotel room door, and he invited me into his room. And he said, "Ah, yes, you have the worst technique of anyone I have ever seen. You will never get a chord together." And I said, "Great, thank you, that's very helpful. I wish you a nice life." And I've never seen him again. And then at the Malko competition, Elizabeth Green, who taught at Ann Arbor and edited Nikolai Malko's book on conducting, she came up and spoke to me and she said, "You have the most amazing technique of anyone in the competition. You can do whatever you want." And I thought, wow, such improvement in 3 weeks. That's fabulous. And so in a sense, what I really am grateful to the Malko competition for, more than the initial sort of idea of prize money or a professional thing, is this idea that there are lots of different ways of looking at things, and you have to figure out who you are, try to be true to yourself, and do the very best job that you can in any situation. And I think that's the thing that the experience of that competition actually taught me.
Winning the Malko felt like winning the lottery for me, because at the time, women conductors were even fewer than now. If I may call it, we are a little bit like the dinosaur. You know, the symphony orchestra is a genre that honors the traditions a lot. And the traditions always have a man on the podium. I think if people think women conductors are like weaker, they haven't seen me conduct.
Pause efter anden runde og en tur i Tivoli med nogle af dirigenterne.
Yes, good morning from Copenhagen, where it's semi-final day here at the Malko competition.
Gosh, this makes me nervous. This makes me so nervous. This is torture.
Ich kann ja nett sein, sehe ich gerade. Ich kann nett sein, oh. Vielen Dank für den Schnitt.
alle 6 kandidater igennem. Hvordan har det været?
Det har været spændende, synes jeg. Det var også lidt hårdt, men jeg synes, det var mest spændende, fordi de er meget forskellige, og det var en forskellig oplevelse med hver af dem.
Jeg kan huske om Jan Wagner, at han kom ind på scenen og stillede sig op på det podium som det mest naturlige i verden. Jeg synes faktisk fra første øjeblik, han dirigerede, synes jeg, han var noget ganske særligt. Han havde en utrolig varm og venlig udstråling. Han var meget struktureret, og frem for alt, så synes jeg, han bød på rigtig meget musik. Og det, når der kommer en, der skiller sig ud på den måde, så hvad kan man sige, så vågner vi rigtig meget, og så har man også lyst til at gøre det endnu bedre. Så det er klart, at orkestret spiller bedre, når der kommer sådan et menneske, som både byder på sig selv, på en masse musik, og så var han i ovenikøbet et meget, meget rart menneske.
There have been many amazing experiences. I've been to so many places I never would have thought I would have ever been to. I come from Los Angeles, which is, you know, a major city in the world, of course, but from, and to put it lightly, extremely humble means. So for me, I never thought I was going to leave South Los Angeles. That was not something I ever thought was going to happen. I, of course, have made my home in Europe for the past decade and some change. But through the Malko competition, through being able to work with all of these different orchestras and making so many friends, the thing that's been made so obvious to me is now the work really starts. Now the learning really starts in many ways. And it's not just about learning the music, that's obvious. Fundamentally, you need to show up prepared everywhere you go. But it's also psychology. It's also working with people, most importantly, which is what music is all about. But also working with people in different countries, working with people where maybe the language is not your own language, working with music you had never conducted before, jumping in on something that you had never thought that you would jump in on, learning music at the last minute. In many ways, I struggle to say the success that I have nowadays, the opportunities that I have today is because I learned very early on the work has to be quite hard from the beginning. You work extremely hard, and hopefully it works out. To be able to work with great orchestras nowadays consistently as well, and have made a lot of good friends, that doesn't mean I'm going to show up and just expect that it's going to be there. Which, I don't know, maybe it's why I'm fortunate to be able to go back to places as well. But I mean, none of that would have happened without Malko. There's no way. There's no way.
So this telegram can be characterized as one musician to another. It says, very successful concert. Sorry you unable to be present. And it's signed Frederick R., the King. Something my father responded to.
It's another very sunny day here in Copenhagen. Unfortunately, I did not advance, which was quite disappointing, but I have no regrets about coming to be part of this competition. It was really an amazing experience. I'm proud to have pushed myself to do a very nerve-wracking thing. And I will be taking a lot away with me when I leave Copenhagen. And I'll begin preparing repertoire for next season with the Dallas Symphony Orchestra. I'm looking forward to the grand finale on Saturday.
Det er risky business, at the winner takes it all.
Ja.
Og lige netop, fordi den bliver transmitteret, streamet, alt muligt på så mange platforme, så er der nemlig også mulighed for, at alle de andre, der ikke vinder, også bliver set og også bliver hørt.
Ja. Netop.
The definition of a good competition has to be that a participant who does not win walks away saying, I'm glad I was here. For me, that's what the competition means.
Yes, good evening and welcome to the grand final of the Malko competition. Who will be crowned this year's winner? We will find out soon enough.
Tusind tak skal I have. God aften og rigtig hjertelig velkommen til finale. Finale ved den internationale dirigentkonkurrence Malko-konkurrencen 2018.
Before this, I always conducted with a baton. And I chose at the last minute before the competition, I'm not going to use baton at all. I want to make sure that I'm as clear as possible. So with all of this stuff, I don't think my hands were used to working so much. So I had to make sure to keep stretching. And now I've never touched a baton since.
Skal vi ikke byde velkommen til ham? Velkommen til Ryan Bancroft.
Wow, that's crazy. I remember when the performance ended and the applause happening, thinking, well, never conducted for this big an audience.
Yes, good evening and welcome to the concert hall of the Danish Broadcasting Corporation here in Copenhagen, where it's crunch time, the grand final of the Malko competition. Who will be crowned this year's winner? We will find out soon enough.
Malko-prisen 1983 er vundet af Claus Peter Flor fra DDR.
Vinderen af denne 11. internationale Malko-konkurrence 1995 er Jan Wagner fra Venezuela.
So, Maestro, will you please announce the name of the winner?
We want to hear it.
Yeah, we want you to...
It took until that moment.
Of the
Ryan Bancroft.
Yeah, to realize... Standing in front of these musicians, my God. God, it was such a huge moment.
Dermed er vi nået frem til vinderen af Malko-konkurrencen 2024. The winner is...
Yeah. It's not a surprise. The first prize goes to Samuel Lee.
for the winner of Malko 2024, simply enjoy the ride. There's going to be so many ups, maybe a couple of downs, but mostly ups, mostly immense optimism and positivity, and so many people that believe in you as well, too. Hold your friends close, your family close as well, if you can. And prepare not to sleep a whole lot. That's a part of it. That's for sure. You're gonna have a blast.
Sí, bueno, muy lindos recuerdos, sí. Sí, es muy emocionante verlo y sí, trae lindos recuerdos. A pesar de que no puedo creer que fue hace tanto tiempo.
Ich habe es nie gesehen. Sehr schön, vielen Dank.
That was such a bizarre time, such a beautifully bizarre time. Wow. That's crazy. That's weird. Whoa. My heart's like this right now. Crazy.
Danke, also das war... Tusind tak.